Thank you for joining me for another episode of Moving Forward with Coach Alethea. Today, I'd like to dedicate this episode to anyone who's been given a dream or an assignment from God, but yet you haven't been able to fully pursue the dream or the assignment for worry and concern over how others will perceive your actions or what others may think about what it is that you're doing. Now, anyone who's ever stepped out on faith to pursue a dream will tell you that it's perfectly normal to be nervous or even a little anxious about the task before you. They'll also tell you that any new venture which takes you outside of your comfort zone is sure to cause you some apprehension, because you may wonder how will it be received or even if it will be effective. And these are all legitimate questions. The key is not to get so consumed with the answers that it causes you to stall and fail to move forward with the vision. Let's look just for a few minutes at Jesus' life. Why Jesus, you may ask? Well, who better to go to when looking for an example of how we should live our lives? After all, he is the ultimate example. Now, if we reflect on Jesus' earthly ministry, we had a man who was of no significant pedigree, but yet he was bold and courageous enough to be able to speak up against what was socially accepted at the time. Jesus, he went into the synagogues and he taught without seminary and theological degrees. He didn't have what was thought of as the required credentials. He simply spoke those things that God told him to speak. Now, Jesus, he was ridiculed. He was considered to be an outcast. People murmured about him. But even still, he continued forward with his assignment. Just imagine for a moment if Jesus had gotten caught up with the fact that folks were talking about him. Imagine if the thought that people thought he was crazy or the fact that they thought that he was demon-possessed prevented him from speaking the message that he was sent to proclaim. I come to tell you today that they hated on Jesus, and as his followers, they will certainly hate on you. But see, what we had to understand is that just as Jesus didn't let what others may say or think about what he had been assigned to do prevent him from going forward, we too must take on a Christ-like mentality and push forward in spite of the murmurings, in spite of the crazy looks, and even in spite of the doubters. For see, just as Jesus recognized that it wasn't about him, but rather the will of the Father that sent him, your assignment, it isn't about you. Like Jesus, your assignment is about the will of the Father who gave you the assignment. Know that when you're on assignment for God, critics, they'll come. Haters, they'll even show up too. But see, when they do, you just keep your hand in the Father's hand. Continue to bend your knees daily in prayer. And most importantly, continue in obedience, doing the things that God has told you to do, despite what others may think or say. This has been Coach Alethea, and together we are moving forward. Be blessed.